Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here. Today is March 12th. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, Friday, March 12th, 2021. And this is an update on the Michael Allmain case. I'm going to do more. This is just, I'm fresh from court, so I want to just kind of give you a feel of what I experienced today in the Michael Allmain case. Like I said, I'll talk to you more later about laws and different things. Okay, so first of all, Michael's attorney's name is Nat Jacob. He seems to be very forthright, very honorable. I was very impressed. He was thorough. He was not discriminating. He was compassionate about the homeless part of it, but he didn't dwell there. He stated it. I thought he did very professional, and he was very professional and respectful with me. And so I got to the courthouse around 1 and left around 5:30. So long day. Okay, so the judge is Judge Cindy Walker, Jefferson County. The judge. This is my impression, obviously this is just my opinion, I believe that she is not corrupt in any way. I don't believe that she's part of the prominent people. I don't believe that she adheres to anybody's conscience or points of law other than her own. I believe that she called the opposition out, which would be the opposition to me, would be the city and the county, on quite a few different things, and actually was making the law apply. You know, things to do with Center Valley Vet and liability, and where is the dog now, and it's not a court of record, so there won't really be a transcript. And Michael has another case, a criminal case. This was a hearing to get the dog back while we're waiting for the criminal case. They took his dog November, just right before Thanksgiving of last year. Yeah, about the judge. So I believe that Judge Cindy Walker applied the law to the best of her ability within the boundaries she was in. She had several things in front of her because she had a civil case with the city. You have the county saying, oh, we're not keeping this Michelle Pleimann, P-L-I-E-B-A-N-N, something like that. She said, oh, we're not keeping the dog as evidence. And the judge is like, but that's what you are doing. So she called him out on a bunch of stuff, but ultimately had to kind of just go with the law and the statute, right? Which is completely discriminatory towards homeless people. Okay, there is no homeless person that can meet these requirements that Michelle Pleimann, I don't know how I'm pronouncing that. We're going to just call her Michelle P. No, I don't like that. Michelle Pleimann, according to her standards of things, there's no homeless person that can possibly adhere to it. So I believe it's discriminatory. Is it illegal? Well, I believe it is because the statutes that they didn't really give him notice. They knew that the dog was his. Officer Wendy knew. They did have a vendetta against this dog. They did all pile up on him. The Center Valley Vet, Officer Wendy Davis, Michelle Sanchez. I'm also going to post a slideshow of comments that were at Port Townsend community page. I'm going to post everything here just for transparency, so you can see what all of these people at the Port Townsend community page, Michelle Sanchez, Wade Ranson, quite a few other people connected with the Center Valley Vet Rescue or whatever it is. They kept referring it to CVAR during the court, CVAR. So I'm going to figure out all the connections because Michelle Pleimann, the attorney, whatever, for the county, she was defending the vet as if she was like acting as their attorney, and then she's saying, well, they don't have representation here today, so we can't really talk about them. Oh, but here's this lien, right? So they got like an $11,000 lien against the dog. So if your dog's running around Port Townsend, okay, you're homeless, they're outside your tent, any circumstance at all, and it's very prejudiced. I've seen tons of dogs around town. So they pick and choose what dogs they take. Okay, so they can take your dog. It doesn't matter how expensive you paid for it, whatever. You might want to breed it. You might be whatever. They'll take your dog. And after 14 days, they can neuter the dog, adopt it out. They can put the dog down. Okay, they can take it to the Humane Society. You have to pay that bill. They can take it to a vet, and they don't have to give you a remedy to, within the law, they should have gave them a remedy right away. They let it pile up, right? So we're mid-November, like November 26th to now. So there's something like $11,000 in vet bills for boarding and vet from a nonprofit, right? A nonprofit screwing over, extorting the homeless. That's Center Valley Vet Rescue in Quilcene. We'll be doing a lot more about those folks. There's no honor in any of this on their part. Did the dog maybe need some vet stuff? Yeah. If a homeless person's dog needs to go to the vet, probably all of them do. So set up a program and help the homeless people take the dog to the vet. Don't take the dog and the homeless person's cold, suicidal, all the mental issues, but they take the dog and they can sell the dog and they can put the dog down. So the judge, I believe she did follow the law, and she had several different lanes she had to go in for, and she called everything out really good and clear. And I really respect her for that. She did an excellent job. However, in the end, she has to go by the statutes of like, okay, well, what do we, so he still might have to pay this civil charge. So the Port Townsend cities racked up like 20 grand, right? Or 15 grand for some homeless guy's dog instead of working with him. Not just any guy. A guy they knew. They knew how to get a hold of him. Officer Wendy Davis knew whose dog it was. They could have helped the dog and helped the man. They had total disregard for this man's life. And after listening to Michelle Pleimann today in court, on the side of the city or the county, she is absolutely evil. She is a very dark individual. It wasn't just her line of questioning. It was discriminatory against homeless. It's if any of you in Port Townsend go by her ruling today, not the judge's ruling, let me reword that, by the standards that Michelle Pleimann was trying to set for the city and the county. All of you people in Jefferson County, every one of you, unless of course it's just for Michael, you all have to have a fence. Okay? Now the judge was even concerned at that at the end because the dog got loose because it's going to be in the same yard, whether someone let it loose or not. So you have to have a fence. You have to have a source of income. You can't have your girlfriend help you pay for dog food. You have to have 3 bags of 29-pound dog foods on hand. Okay? No homeless person can ever meet these standards. He's renting a room now. He's got help. He's got me. He's got other resources. And he's got a really sweet, precious girlfriend that's helping him. Okay, but no homeless person can meet these standards. You add that on top of Washington State having no total disregard in law for emotional support animals. Now, if a homeless person has a dog, that's their home. There's rulings that a tent is a homeless person's home. Your car, you have all kinds of right. I'd already researched that. But there's rulings like, in Seattle, there was this case where I think the cops had seen drug paraphernalia and they arrested this homeless guy. Well, it was ruled that you have to have a search warrant even if it's a tent because that's their home. And some of the stuff talks about a dog being home. So that's an interesting approach. I'm going to look into helping to write and change these laws. I'm definitely going to do programs through my church. But no community can say they have any sort of compassion at all if they don't have a program to help the homeless person and their dog. Okay? Or even a low-income person and their dog. If the dog is suffering what they call neglect because it has maybe teeth issues or some sort of a medical issue, not being abused, not being underfed, but maybe under eating because it might have teeth problems. So help the dog get whole. Okay? Now, homeless people, it should be a different statute because it's their everything. It's literally life and death. Okay? Emotionally and physically with warmth and freezing to death. Okay, so there needs to be laws changed. There needs to be different nonprofits. The only cap rate, all the city, they act like, oh, we care about the mental issues of the homeless. No, you don't. Because number one mental issue for homeless, if they have a pet, the biggest issue is their pet. Because that's their family. That's their warmth. That's their comfort. That's their everything. Right? Okay, so I have absolutely no grievance with this judge. I think Port Townsend can be proud of her. However, in the end, Michael's being required to have 3 bags of 29-pound dog food. He has to prepay 3 vet visits. And a couple other hoops. I forget. But the biggest thing then being Center Valley Vet and Rescue had racked up like a $12,000 bill. So he's been fighting to get his dog back since November, December, right? And the dog's been well, or whatever they fixed the tooth, or whatever they did, right, was long ago. So they've had the dog for all of these months. They've racked up those bills. So whether you're homeless or not, they can go get your dog, and they can send it to anywhere they want. Maybe to the spa, maybe fly the dog to Las Vegas, take the dog to the casino, you know, whatever. Rack up all these bills, and then you're liable. And if you don't pay it, they can adopt the dog out. Add that to a bunch of these women getting together to go after this man in some sort of lynch mob, which we have record on the Port Townsend community page. Okay, that they were ganging up on him and harassing him. Now, what is the county's vendetta and the city's vendetta, or people within it, against this particular man or about this particular dog? I'm not sure. Okay, but when Michelle Pleimann questioned me today, I think I'm moving fast because I'm all over the map. Let me start over. Today, I testified for Michael Allmain in court in Port Townsend, Jefferson County. I testified to what I witnessed of him and his care for his dog over several years, day and night. That he did feed the dog. He did love the dog. He did train the dog every day and every night. Of course, Michelle Pleimann thinks that's completely irrelevant because, you know, I'm just, you know, I didn't know of them at the time the abuse happened, right? But yet they're still claiming it was long-term abuse. So everything she said was just a messed up, distorted, you know, evil, and about someone's dog, not a criminal, not someone who kicked their dog, abused their dog, but someone who could not afford to fix their dog's teeth. So she asked him about the dog's teeth. Did you notice the dog's teeth? Did you notice the dog had ear mites? Did you notice the... Okay, so this standard now, every one of you people in Port Townsend with dogs, this is for all of you. Okay? And for every homeless person. Okay? They want to say it's just for Michael, but they've set a precedence. And I bet you any day of the week I could go find 5, 10, 20 households or tents or people at the shelter or whatever that, I don't think dogs are allowed at the shelter, but homeless people that have dogs that would not meet these standards, okay? You got an income? You got a job? Can you afford a vet? Do you have a fence? Okay, well, if you can't, then according to Michelle Pleimann, so according to Jefferson County and the City of Port Townsend, you can't have a dog. So no homeless person can have a dog. And then they take it and then they rack up all these bills, so they keep your dog, which is your family, okay? So Michael is having a unique thing where he was getting help with the first $2,500 alone. And so then they added on like $11,000, right? So the question that the attorney was trying to ask Michelle Pleimann and ask the county and the city is, what is your relationship with CVR, which is Center Valley Vet Rescue? It's a nonprofit rescue, animal rescue. What is your relationship with him? So if the dog's supposed to go to the Humane Society and then they have some sort of agreement where they send it to Center Valley Vet, why them? And what kind of, I think this is under civil conspiracy laws, because they can take your dog and they can send it to whatever vet they want and charge you whatever you want, no matter your income. If you're indigent, you know, whatever that word is, where you don't have, you know, you're poor, you can't afford attorney, you have no attorney appointed to you, but yet you're racking up your 14 days and they're going to steal your dog. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to do more videos on the different topics of this, but I kind of lost the train of thought on that one. But there's no way to meet these standards, and I doubt even 40% of the people in Port Townsend are meeting these standards, okay? So if you don't have an income right now, Michelle Pleimann wants your dog, okay? And she wants to take the dog and she wants to give the money to her buddies, and we'll see, because she was so defensive about them today, just what their connection is. But the question that was never really answered today is, what is the relationship with the City of Port Townsend and Center Valley Vet? How come they can rack up these huge bills and steal the homeless person's dog if they don't pay these bills, and then charge them with criminal neglect just based on hearsay from the and examined by that same vet. So so they get to just pick up your dog and say, okay, there's an issue with the dog, and then charge whatever they want or keep the dog. Now, is this just for homeless people? Is this just for Michael? Is this for every household in Port Townsend? Y'all better have a fence. It's not a court of record, so there's no transcript of what happened today. But that's what Michelle Pleimann said. And that's what ultimately the judge ended up saying, is that she's concerned there was no fence. But in her defense, because it was the same yard it was released from before, she didn't say this. But it's my feeling that, yeah, it needs a fence because whoever let it go is going to do it again. Right? Not because the dog's going to escape. She didn't say that, but because it's the same yard. And so, but the standards that the judge did set today with having the food and having all that, it makes it so that it's a discrimination against this one man. Because you can't live in a tent and have a supply of dog food. You can't live in a tent and even if you do have some income, how are you going to afford these high-priced vets? Right? And, shouldn't there be some, I was going to say, shouldn't there be some sort of nonprofit who would help people? No. Center Valley Vet is not a nonprofit to help people. They're charging exorbitant amounts of money, and they're extorting the homeless. That's my personal opinion. I mean, this woman, Michelle Pleimann, was unbelievably negative and dark and horrible. And knowing that this man is homeless or was homeless, but now she's like, well, you don't have a lease or whatever where you're staying, because now he's like, he's got a room, he can... but so what? Even if I live in a tent, I can't have my dog back? Because I can't get 90 pounds of dog food and just have it in my tent? And I can't afford 3 vet visits and $15,000 because the city picked up my dog and let Center Valley Vet extort me? Okay? This is going to apply to every one of you homeless people out there and every person in every house in Port Townsend that doesn't have a fence, or God forbid you lose your income for a few weeks, okay? This is... well, I think it's going to be the most transparent case in Port Townsend of taking someone's pet. So what happened today, Michael may or may not get his dog back next week. He has these hoops to jump through. And then to get on a payment schedule for $15,000 for what I call extortion by Center Valley Vet. And what is their relationship with the county? What is their relationship with Michelle Pleimann? What is their relationship with Michelle Sanchez, who started this on Port Townsend community page? If a homeless person's dog needs help with their teeth or ear bites, take the dog and let the man die? Take the dog and heck with the person? And under these same things, do they apply this law equally? No, they do not. So I believe Michael has a huge discrimination case, and we will address that later. Right now, he's still got criminal charges for neglect and abuse, of which he is not guilty of. Poverty, possibly. Depression, undoubtedly. But neglect and abuse, absolutely not. All right, so let's see, just a few things here. So yeah, the source of income thing really burned me up, because when Michelle Pleimann asked that, well, do you have a source of income? Well, do you have a lease? Well, do you have a... What? So all of us homeless people have to meet this threshold? Is this law? Is this them just saying, I'm the moral compass, and it's hearsay? It's her trying to be the moral compass? And the irony of this woman, Michelle Pleimann, when I saw her name, just as she was questioning me, I was like, wow, this woman, she is a nasty, evil woman, my opinion. I have been living in a car for a long time. She was just fucking horrible and cold to me. Excuse my language. She's just not a nice... I don't even think she has a soul. But I was reminded that after all of these years of everything that I've experienced here, I finally got a place for my church. Right? Because there was an 80-year-old gal that had been in this spot for 25 years, and she asked me to clean it out for her and to take it over. And I did. Okay, so either the landlord, someone connected to the landlord, or another party that had a vendetta against me, contacted the county when I moved into this church, and said something about me having a massage table. So I do meditation on the massage table, I do prayer, I do energy healing, I do faith healing. So Michelle Pleimann, I got it in letter form from the landlord, so I think he had a conversation with her, said that massage is really good money. Make her pay. Make her pay for rails. Make her pay to remodel. Make her pay for the disabled parking. That's what, and I said, well, you know, wait a minute. First of all, I don't do massage, and secondly, I'm not commercial. I'm a church. And so it kind of went away. But she's obviously just hateful and vindictive all around. And she should not be in the position that she's in. She actually truly does harm to people. Okay, so y'all need a source of income. Y'all need a fence. Officer Wendy Davis knew who the dog belonged to, did not notify him. This woman, Michelle Pleimann, for the county and city, claims that, no, we have every right to own the dog, like, after 14 days, because he didn't even try to get, he didn't try to get the dog back. He called the officer that day. He left messages. He called the Humane Society. He did everything he could, and he has been for months, including all of the city and everybody being notified by me. Okay, and all of my videos, and this story went viral locally. Okay, so they have a PR nightmare, and it's going to continue. There will be, today, that Michelle was like, well, I haven't looked at the pictures, so she wasn't even going to allow pictures of where the dog's going to be. She was just horrible. And so it's going to be just so interesting when we do a bunch more freedom of information. There's already, they implied in court, I don't have copies of it, but that freedom of information requests were done to see the coordination between, like, Center Valley Vet, the city, the different parties, some Greenwald or something. I'll look up all these names, but she was there in the first part of it. But there's already emails that they were all discussing. Well, how can Michael pay? Well, how can he? They obviously wanted the dog and had a vendetta. But what they're doing is setting a precedence for every single one of you in Port Townsend. I have been nipped by dogs downtown. Okay, we've told the cops, dogs that just were at large, no problem, right? So they took the dog because it got loose and the dog was at large. Then they turned it into a criminal case because they said he was neglected. Okay, so he'd had teeth issues or whatever. So I get it. Okay, so there's statutes, there's system. Okay, but shouldn't there be a different set of rules for the homeless? Why? Who has the conscience that can leave a man to die and take his dog and help the dog and not help the man? Okay? And if there's some sort of law, well, we can take the dog because he's being abused. Why don't you take us homeless people? We're being abused by the system. Why don't you save us? Why don't you put us up at Center Valley Vet? We can use some indoors to sleep in. What is it about this dog? And it's a non-profit? Screwing over the homeless? I mean, yeah. So yeah, civil conspiracy emails. If you're unemployed, you better not have a dog. According to Michelle Pleimann, no source of income, you better not. If you don't have a lease, you better not. If your girlfriend's helping you feed your dog, no. So yeah, we're going to be proving a lot more of these connections because Michael, let's see how much time's left on this. Michael is excited today. So today's a good day. Okay? The testimony, my testimony, good. I was emotional, as I do. It's an emotional thing. They don't get what they don't get what a dog is to a homeless person, which is just shocking. Which made me forget what I said. But okay, so right, we're gonna identify every person part of it. That Michelle Pleimann kind of went back and forth with, well, this dog told you the dog wasn't being fed, right? Or she's some sort of moral compass, but she's not. She's actually very dark individual. And so there's no way that the city and county and a nonprofit should not have had compassion in this situation and help the man to help the dog. He bought the dog. He testified that he had paid $600 for the dog. Okay, I know what I was saying. How did today ended great for Michael? He feels really good about it because he has a plan. So he has a room now. He has a place to stay. He has a yard for the dog. He has a dog house. And so the judge just said, okay, instead of the 1 bag of food, we want 2 more bags of food, and we want 3 vet visits prepaid. And then you probably still have this like $15,000 bill at the vet. So at least there's something for him to get his dog back. But I'm looking at it as the people that do still live in the tents. Okay, luckily he's not homeless as of today. He's been in a place for a month. But I'm looking at it as all you out there live in a tent, all of you live in a camper, all of you in Port Townsend in vehicles that have dogs, and those of you in houses with no income and no fence, y'all in trouble, okay? Or it's massive discrimination, right? So my fight with this goes on. I'm gonna be researching, introducing more bills, because Washington State. Yes, you can have a service dog, but emotional dogs, no. So the homeless and dogs, it's common knowledge. I've sent articles. There's just massive information on how important it is and how much discrimination there is in the system against homeless dogs. Because they can see the homeless guy, they immediately judge the dog's not taken care of. And he looks so sad, okay? So there's that. But also, they can't afford a vet, okay? And if they take the dog to the vet to get help, then the system takes the dog. If the dog's taken, they kill themselves, okay? Because the dog is everything. So we're moving forward in a positive direction. Michael may get the dog back and get on a payment plan for this exorbitant amount of money. And then in a few weeks, he's got a criminal case, because he abused and neglected the dog. So they're just going at him and at him and at him. And they're not, in my opinion, applying the law equally across the board. So this saga continues. Today's Friday, like I said, March 11th. He may have Moses back. Michael may have Moses back next week. But the issue here is bigger. Because if he didn't have a source of income, don't have a lease, if you can't stockpile 3 bags of dog food, and if you can't pay for the vet, they'll take the dog. And then if they take your dog and you rack up a $15,000 bill, you just say bye to your dog. And if you're really, really close to your dog and it's everything to you, then you die. Michael's in a good spot today, so I'm just going to leave that part of that. But this does not set a good precedence for the homeless. This means that the only reason that he can move forward at all is because now he has a room in a house, right? So the laws need to change. There needs to be programs in Port Townsend to help homeless people with dogs, not just take the dog and disregard the people. Okay, so there'll be a lot more videos on this. This is just kind of my overview of what happened today as I went and testified for Michael. No one else did. I know tons and tons of people have seen him and seen him with his dog, and I got tons of support and emails and messages, but no one had the balls to stand up for him. No one, I'm not going to say no one cares, but he's just some homeless guy, right? Whatever. But I'll tell you what, Michelle Pleimann, definitely, you got a tip on her, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. I'm going to be posting on porttownsendnews.blogspot.com, and then the OLICAP site, which is linked there. That's the local nonprofit, to expose what they do to extort the homeless. Not Michelle. I want to investigate stuff with her, so send me anything you can. But the city and county coordinating and Humane Society with Center Valley Vet for these big fees, that's unethical at best. But I think it's a lot more than that. So we'll discuss a lot more soon. I love you guys. God bless you.